Jerry, did you ever think in your wildest imagination that you'd see a time when they would pay a college basketball coach $2-3 million a year to coach a team?
I never thought they would have. First of all, I don't see how you can keep the faculty happy when you pay a coach that kind of money. Like the most I made at UNLV was like $450, including my Nike.
I started at Washington State in 1972, Jerry, for $22,400, and I thought I hit the jackpot.
Yes.
And here today, you're paying guys $2-3 million to coach a game.
Guys who can't coach.
Yeah. And I and now I think, Jerry, we've arrived at a point where coaches are taking jobs for the wrong reasons. They're taking it for the money, not for the opportunity or the ability to really have a meaningful and positive effect on the lives of young kids.
Yeah.
Jerry, what, in your opinion, are the most important character traits for a player when you were recruiting? What kind of character traits were really important to you in recruiting a young kid?
Guys who played hard. To me, the guys who played hard were the most important. They got to send Gerg out to scout a kid. He'd come back, coach, we got to get him. I said, you like him, Tim? He said, oh, yeah. I said, well, what's he do well? Oh, he took 3 charges, knocked some guy in his ass. That's all Gerg cared about. I said, Tim, can you shoot? Oh, he shoots all right. He knocked some guy in their ass.
You know, you say Tim Gergridge and Mark Workentine both now will have had distinguished careers in the NBA where your former assistants. Talk to us a little bit about it. I know Tim was out of Pittsburgh, had a legend actually to this day in Pittsburgh.
Oh, Tim's the best. He's the best teacher I've ever been around. The hardest worker. God, he just worked his ass off.
And how did you get Mark Workentine?
Workentine was, he's from Riverside, and Billy Mulligan was his coach, and Mulligan told me he always wanted to work for me. So I brought him up, and I hired him. I had an opening, I hired him. I never really hired high-profile coaches. Like I got Tate's lot because he was getting paid by Clemson, I think. I did a guy who got fired. He was getting paid by the other school. But I never got like Timmy. I almost didn't take Tim. Much was it? It would have ended my career probably. There was this Jewish coach from New York that Howie Garfinkel wanted me to hire. And if I would have hired him instead of Tim Gergridge, Sonny wanted me to hire Tim Gergridge. If I would have hired this guy that Howie wanted me to hire him, I would have never lasted. This guy, he was a Davidson, I think, or someplace like that. And Howie Garfinkel really put the move on me to hire him. So I was going to hire him. I offered him the job. He came out here and he wanted a job. And he asked me about moving expense. I said, we don't pay moving expense for assistants. I told him that before he came out. I told him, can you help me with a realtor? I said, yeah, I get you a realtor, but you're going to have to pay for him. Hey, can you get me some boosters to pay for me? I say, I says, just go, just leave. So I picked up the phone and called Gerg. Can't think of the guy's name.
Wasn't Rothstein, was it?
No.
Jerry, what bothers you the most today about the college the basketball?
With the scheduling, the coaches are really scheduling horseshit teams. Every coach plays about half the schedules of this horseshit team.
Mm-hmm. What about the recruiting and the NC2A regulations?
Gotta live with those.
Mm-hmm. When you were building your programs, Jerry, the summer basketball culture was nothing like it is today. Would you think you could have achieved the same kind of success that you did in at Long Beach State and UNLV and Fresno State, Jerry, based on the summer basketball culture as it exists today?
Well, UNLV would have had an edge because they played the games here,
Mm-hmm.
but the other places probably not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they played the games here, and you know, I didn't really recruit that hard this summertime.
Mm-hmm.
We never had recruited as many players as other schools. Like I never went to the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the Bay Area to recruit a kid who went to Oregon, and we didn't get. It's the only time I went to the Bay Area to recruit. We didn't recruit nationally. We didn't recruit the South. Like, and we go to Nike trips, and this coach from Memphis, he's not from Memphis, he's from Black School in Memphis. He used to always tell me about the great Memphis players.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you come in, coach? I can't get in there. I said, if we get in there, you're gonna have to buy the kid. And I said, we didn't buy anybody. And so I never recruited in Memphis. We never really recruited the South.
Jerry, tell us the story about how you came about chewing the wet towel during the games. That was kind of one of your signature things during the game. The cameras would always come in close on you at some point and see you biting down on the wet towel.
That happened in my third year coaching. I was at Redlands High School. We were playing Ramona High School for a championship. It was a real hot day. It was in February. And it was a day game. And we had the gym packed. And every time out, I would run to the drinking fountain, get a drink, because my throat would be dry. And the game winds up in an overtime where you get like a 2 or 3 minute timeout. So I just took my towel to the drinking fountain, wet the towel, and took it to the bench and won my first championship.
Mm-hmm.
So then I just did out of superstition more than
anything. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because people will be astonished when you say how hot it was in February, but those of us who lived in Southern California know that we would get. It was nothing to have the temperatures in the mid 80s in September. And that. Jerry, who were 2 or 3 of the very best coaches? I know you mentioned Pete Newell. But who were 2 or 3 of the very best coaches you coached against during your coaching career?
Coached against. You know, people always want me to say big name coaches, Krzyzewski or Knight or that. You know, the ones that I remember the most were guys in our league or that we played more.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say Jerry Pim, I say Boyd Grant.
Jerry Pim was at Santa Barbara.
Boyd Grant,
Fresno State.
You know, Mike Krzyzewski, I got the most respect for because I've never seen him lose a game where he doesn't praise the other team. He did it the other day.
Yes. Yeah, the Florida State game.
Yeah, he talked about how great a shot that was. Mike's a good man.
Jerry, how did the Tarkanian family, Lois, Danny, so forth, what brought about this sincere interest in politics? Danny ran for office. Lois is on the city council. Your family has become very, very community oriented. And what brought about the great interest in the Tarkanian family in politics?
Well, Lois we've been a Democrat I was a Democrat, and I didn't even know what difference was. I just voted for whichever way Lois told me to vote. And now I'm a Republican because Danny's a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
But Danny was a Republican all right from the beginning because that's what he believed in. If Danny would have came here 3 years ago and been a Democrat, he would have won. But he was a Republican, and the Democrats were like 20% more Democrats in the area. And he has stayed the course. He's still a Republican.
Tell us about Danny. He's a lawyer. Tell us a little bit more about what he's doing professionally now, Jerry.
Well, he's a lawyer, and we have that basketball facility that Danny's running.
He built a basketball training facility on the outskirts of the strip and so forth. It's got 3 or 4 courts and weight training and everything. And then Lois is on the city council. What are some of the things she's involved in, Jerry?
Well, they vote on everything.
Mm-hmm.
She works hard at it.
And what do you do while they're out involved in community activities and politics? What does Jerry Tarkanian do to spend his free time?
Now I help Danny when I can. Mm-hmm. I helped Lois when she first started. I've never liked politics. When I left UNLV, some people wanted me to run for mayor. And they said that if I ran for mayor, that I would really enjoy it and all that stuff. But I said, well, I'm not going to walk door to door. They said people would walk for me and all that. But the gal that was the mayor, Fletcher Jones' wife, she was a good friend of mine too. And she called me on the phone. She told me she reads, I forget how many dollars she reads every night. I said, I'm not going to read all that stuff. They said to get someone to read it for me.
Legislation and different laws and so forth.
They want me to run for mayor. I might have done that. I thought I'd run for mayor and hire Mike Tony and some of my friends and all that stuff, but it wasn't that way.
Yeah. Jerry, if you had your life to live all over again, are there any things that you would do differently?
Probably wouldn't have fought the NC2A.
Talk to us a little bit about your fights with the NC2A, Jerry.
You can't win. They control everything. They control the media. They get articles written that they want. They get everything they want.
So they end up being the judge and the jury?
Everything.
So you felt a lot of the time that you spent fighting them. At the end of the day, when you look back on it, you feel like it was a waste of time.
Yeah.
And so, Jerry, clearly you have extraordinary basketball credentials and achievements, and I don't know many people who, from high school to junior college to the college, who've achieved as much as you have in terms of winning and resurrecting programs that were at the very bottom, and you took them to the top, whether it was Redlands, whether it was Pasadena, Long Beach, UNLV, you took programs that were severely challenged to become marquee programs, and you won. Uh, does it bother you that you have yet to be nominated for the Hall of Fame?
I was nominated several times when I first got out of coaching, but I was never picked. It bothered me some, but it was something I can live with.
Mm. Jerry, I, for one, personally believe that it's an injustice that you're not in there. There are people who have been selected that if you put their credentials alongside of yours, that there's a great discrepancy, and yours would easily win out in that. And so there's those of us who really feel you should be in there and are advocates of it. And I sincerely believe that uh, that you will be elected to the Hall of Fame, and I think that you earned the right to be in the Hall of Fame, and no one has to give you anything. You've earned the right to be in the Hall of Fame, and to me, that's the final passing grade that needs to be put alongside the history of Jerry Tarkanian as a basketball coach. Jerry, how do you want to be remembered as a coach and as a person?
I've always tried to be good with other coaches, and I've always done. I think I have a good relationship with other coaches because I never poured it on a coach when I had him down. I never, when I left Long Beach State to go to UNLV, I could have taken that whole Long Beach team with me. And I didn't, because I didn't think it was right. Now I see other coaches do it all the time. You don't get ripped for it.
Mm-hmm.
I never did that. I could have taken the Pondexters with me when I came from Long Beach to Vegas.
Well, Jerry, I really want to thank you for sharing a substantial part of your coaching career with me and talking about the Jerry Tarkanian, the past, the present, and the future, and that. And I can say to you, and I said this to you when I did the video when you had your recent birthday party. I think you're a credit to the game. I think that you've tried to do things the way you felt were the right way to do things. I think you've taken a lot of young men who perhaps maybe would have never had the opportunity to achieve the things that they achieved in their lifetime without your guidance in that. And so, I think the game owes you a huge debt of gratitude for what you've done for the game, what you've done for other coaches, what you've done for young people. And so I want to say thank you for doing that. I'll always be a big Jerry Tarkanian fan.